You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Mike Olivas.
Welcome back, guys. Today we're interviewing Hilary Silver. Hilary is a CEO of Hilary Silver Enterprises, a multi-million-dollar personal growth and development company dedicated to serving women who want to live a more consciously creative and fulfilling life with meaning and purpose. All right, Hilary, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell our listeners something interesting about yourself and also where you're calling in from today.
Something interesting about myself. Well, first of all, I'm calling in from Denver. And I don't know if it's interesting, but it's always important to know, I'm a human being. Though I have a multi-million-dollar business, I got a husband and 2 kids. My life is not all that exciting unless I'm taking time off from my day-to-day and going to live something, vacation or travel or something like that. But something that's different for us that just happened is my husband quit his job to start coaching after I switched from having my brick and mortar and being fully online. He was hearing me doing the work that I do. And he's like, I want a piece of that. So he is now starting the whole process to be a coach as well. So that's new and different for us.
That's
having him
awesome.
Home with me full time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's very exciting for him as well, and definitely a new change. So tell me a little bit about what, I'm sorry, where are you calling in from? You're calling in from Denver. Mile High.
Yep.
Mile High City. And guess what? Honestly, I'm in Bogota, Colombia right now. I'm doing some traveling around. And
nice.
I thought that I Googled this just a couple of days ago because I was feeling like I've been here before and I kind of had a headache, and I don't know why I didn't look at this before. It is one of the highest cities in the world, and didn't realize how much higher it was than Denver, because I've been to Denver and had the kind of same feeling. And I do a lot of snowboarding. And I just, I was in Colorado actually a few months ago, but like I think about Colorado being so high in the States, and I realized how crazy different it is in the mountains here in Bogota, Colombia. But definitely something that you are used to from a high elevation standpoint, right? And others probably are.
Sure.
People that come to travel and hang out with you are probably like, okay, I'm feeling a little wheezy.
Yeah. And I love when I go down to altitude to
California or something.
Yeah. And I can just run forever and ever.
Oh,
and
yeah.
ever.
You're like, I'm going to run a marathon. Yeah, exactly. It's so true.
Yeah.
So what does your company do? Tell us about hilarysilver.com, what it does, what it brings to the marketplace, the value.
Yeah. So my overall company is Hilary Silver Enterprises, and we are just a personal growth and development company for women who really want to live their best life. They want to have a more consciously created life that's full of joy and purpose and fulfillment, and that they're actually creating everything that they want. And so our 2 main programs are the Love and Be Loved program. It's really for highly accomplished, successful professional women who are just not having luck in the love department. And that is an 8-week program where they actually get high-level, ultra-premium coaching from me and my team. And then the Extraordinary Women Rising is a piece of the program that was extracted and pulled out. And it is right now a starter level program. It's a journal with audios and visualizations and daily journal that they can use. And we're developing that into a full-on program as well right now too. But it's more the mindset mastery. It is my method and technique and daily practice that has sharpened my mindset blade to the point where I know I can do anything that I want. And it was the biggest hurdle for me in overcoming the stuckness that I was having from leaving my old brick and mortar therapy practice that I'd had for 17 years and being fully online. So we bring goodness to the world. We help women really be the best version of themselves and get everything that they want in their life.
I love that. And I love the message that you're sending out there to women. How did you get into it?
Well, I mean, that's a big question, because all the reasons why I became a therapist are one thing, but I switched into more of a coaching mode when I felt like, the old therapy model wasn't working, and working with people one-on-one in the privacy of my office, I found they were just feeling isolated in what they were struggling with. And I knew they weren't alone, but they didn't. And also I was repeating myself over and over and over again. So there's just common themes about what we all want and what the obstacles are keeping us from getting it. So I really shifted into doing this in a group format there's individual coaching as well, but the majority of it is group coaching because we learn from each other. Our learning and our transformation is expedited when we are in a community with other people who are working on the same things that we are. And there was never an educational component to the therapy either. So I always felt like I had to do a lot of teaching, and there just isn't a lot of time. So my program really is about offering the educational piece. There's an online course that they learn from, but then we're not wasting our Q&A time with the training. And so I was just motivated to shift the model because it's way more effective. I've been doing this now almost 3 years this way exclusively, and I've gotten so many more results and transformations for my clients in the last 3 years than I think I ever did in the 17 years that I had a brick and mortar doing it the old way.
Give me a time where you felt in your entrepreneurship journey that you felt you've hit rock bottom or close to it and were able to overcome a disaster, and actually how you did it.
Yeah, well, everything had been easy for me because when I left grad school, I already knew what I wanted to do. And everyone said, don't start a private practice right after grad school. And I was like, I'm doing it. Watch me. And it did. It worked out. I had a six-figure business working 3 days a week as a therapist. But when I was trying to bridge from where I was to where I wanted to be, it took me 4 years. I probably spent $100,000. I was chasing my tail. I tried all this and all that. So rock bottom for me really was when the longer I spent focusing online and not cracking the code and straddling both worlds. I had expenses from two different business models. I had clients in two different business models. I was wearing myself out. And so my rock bottom really was feeling like I had to just burn all my boats or I was going to sink.
Right.
And so that's really what it was. I was wearing myself out emotionally. I was getting burnt out and I just wasn't cracking that code and getting where I wanted to be.
What was the code that you had to crack?
Interestingly enough, 10% of the success was really a new strategy and
Sure.
sticking to it. 90% of it was mindset.
Sure.
And that was a blind spot for me because I really had done a lot of my own work. I had been coached and had therapy and done all my work and I had been helping people and I've trained as a therapist. Like I really was pretty evolved and I still had my own blind spots about my mindset. And it really was like shifting my belief pattern. I had these blocks around, I really think that our blocks are about not feeling worthy or capable. And I knew I was worthy of it. I just didn't feel capable of it. And I think it was getting stuck thinking, why can everyone else have it but not me? Why is it working for everyone else and not me? What am I doing wrong? And it was really a simple shift to, if everyone else can do it, I can do it. Right?
Yeah,
It's
right.
this tiny little distinction, but I didn't realize how stuck I was, and I was my own biggest obstacle. And so that was it. And that's really where the journal has come from, because it was really what took me from 0 to 2 million pretty quickly.
What's happening, Life Nation? Michael Levis here. This is a time to do the right thing, not the profitable thing. I'm giving away COVID-19 business strategy sessions for free. I promise to give you my honest advice and coach you on a strategy that I feel would be best for the longevity of your business. I'm not asking you for your money, but in the interest of being able to help as many people as I can, I am asking you to be ready with your 1 to 2 specific questions so we can jump right into it. Go to michaellevis.com/coaching and simply schedule a call on my calendar. That's MIKEOLIVAS.com/coaching. Sure. That's awesome. It's wild to think that, you're doing all the right things, but in your own mind is kind of like, you're just kind of holding yourself back on a lot of that. And I think that's so true for maybe a lot of entrepreneurs listening that hope that, they're big enough to realize that maybe I'm my biggest obstacle, and it's kind of lying within my own mind, and how do I get better at that? And hopefully we know there's a lot of help out there. If you're a woman, of course, Hilary is one of them, because you focus on that. And I think that's great. But obviously, if you're a guy, there's so much more. There's so many more resources available today. Whether you're listening to podcasts like these, realizing some things, or also living in the YouTube world or living in the book world, I think there's just so much to go out there to kind of realize that there's a huge step forward once you kind of release a lot of these internal, I think, issues. So why do you think, in your expert opinion here, Hilary, why a lot of entrepreneurs out there decide to just give up or fail?
Well, I know, because I was almost at that place. I never was going to give up because I'm unemployable and insubordinate and I can never work for anybody else. So it was never an option to not be my own boss and work for myself. But I was at the place where I was just Well, if I had been laying on the floor, that typical on the floor in the bathroom, naked,
Crying,
like
shower
whether,
on
yeah,
you, curled up in a ball. Yeah.
yeah, that's what it did feel like at times. And that for me was because I was not focusing on the right thing and I kept changing my mind and I was chasing the wrong information. And maybe this person can help me and maybe that person can help me and just one more program and just one more coach and just one more new strategy. And in 4 years' time, I think I created 5 different programs. And I just kept thinking that was the problem, or it was really not being completely focused on doing one thing, solving like for me, what really worked was getting rid of everything that I was doing that wasn't working and starting all over with one new problem that I was going to solve for one kind of person, one solution, and one way of getting them in to work with me and sticking to it. And then doing the mindset work, believing that I could, and doing that mindset work every single day. I still do it. Nothing stops me. And so I think they give up because they're focusing on the wrong things, and maybe doing what I was doing, which was changing my mind all the time and trying to figure out who do I want to be when I grow up business wise.
Yeah.
And that was really helpful for me to get super clear and focused.
Yeah, clarity is really important, listeners. And I think that it kind of caveats into a lot of the things that I help some of my clients as well with, is just not mistaking activity for productivity. Because a lot of times it's easy to do that. It's easy to think that posting something on Instagram is productivity, right? And I'll pull my hair out of all these vanity metrics that people talk about, likes that make zero and just, I'm sorry, horseshit sense. Like it doesn't work. But there's so many but the idea is, well, if people like it, they're going to probably buy from me. And it's like, no, they like the image or something, right? So I think when it comes to the productivity and the activity or activity argument, there's a lot there as well. What are you excited about within your business and maybe even your industry right now, Hilary?
Well, in my industry or my business? I mean, in my business, I'm really excited about taking this journal program. It is a journal program, which is different.
Let's talk
It's
about
not
that.
just
What is the journal program?
Yeah, so the journal, it started off with, in my 8-week program with my coaching, in my ultra premium coaching program, one of the elements is to really use neurofeedback and brain psychology to retrain our thinking, which
Okay.
is what I did. It's about helping women become who they need to be to then have what they want, to change their identity, the way they think about themselves, what's possible for them, and to rewire all of that. And so the method and the technique that I used is in this journal, and it's a daily journal, but at each day they can log in and listen to my guided visualizations. And visualization is way more powerful than meditation to prime the brain and prime the mind to actually create what you want. So it's a program because it's not just a 90-day planner. It's so much more than that. But what we're working on now is building that out into a program that comes complete with the coaching and the weekly support to help women take that to the next level. So there's the DIY, and it's a gorgeous, leather-bound journal that they get. It feels all special. It comes in a big, gorgeous box, and the audios. But we're working on developing that into a full-on program where there's coaching involved.
That's awesome. I think that in the world of coaching and self-development, there's a lot, right? We all know there's a lot out there, but knowing that, like, for example, the journal program, I think is a great idea, Hilary, because you're able to not only give somebody the tool, but the assistance with the tool. And I think that's there's a lot of things where people may or may not buy a book and hear it, but the implementation of that, I think, is probably where the journal program might be the big difference on showing people the guided help, like you mentioned.
Yep.
Tell me why you did that. Tell me why you decided to go that route.
Well, I mean, in doing the program, the Love and Be Loved program for the last almost 3 years, one of the things that the women love the most, because whether they get the guy at the end or not, like he comes eventually, it was really about who they needed to become first, to believe they were worthy of the love and capable of doing it. And to me, for personally, my own limitation was sometimes my own imagination and my own belief that I could create that. And so it's really leveling up your identity and seeing yourself. If you need to be the CEO, then who do you need to be the CEO? What has to change within you? And so that was the piece that my women were loving the most. They wanted to keep working on, regardless of love walking in the door. It was continuing to be their most ideal self. So that's why we pulled that out and why we're working on that, because you get what you expect. And until you expect great things, you're not going to get it. And until you wait, it's really just the power of the mindset. And that's what they love the most about working with me. And that's actually what I get most excited about right now.
How have you built the life that you want to live?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I just always do what I want. I never do what I should.
I do what I
never
want.
do what I'm supposed to. I know that I come first, and if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to, and not doing it to please anyone else. I'm saying no if I want to say no. I'm always reminding myself in my journaling that I build my life the way that I want to, and that means that I'm making all the money I want. I'm helping all the women that I want, but I also get to take Wednesdays off to do tennis lessons, and I finish working at 3, and I'm just building in the lifestyle that I want when I'm thinking about the company that I'm building, so that I always get what I want. I always get what I want, always. And it doesn't come at a cost to anyone else. That's the best thing.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I think, that focus of knowing that what you want first is definitely part of the process, especially within the coaching development side. Out of all your successes and failures in your business, what is the one piece of parting advice that you'd give to the business and life nation listening today?
Wow. I think it really is just, if you're feeling stuck and you're not moving ahead, it's not outside of yourself. And I know that's the bitter pill to swallow, but it's also the magic pill if you're willing to swallow it. There's something in you that is keeping you from getting it, because there's no other reason why you can't. And so again, it's your own imagination and what you believe is possible. You're not thinking big enough. There's an internal obstacle, and you don't have to do it by yourself. You have to find somebody who can guide you or help you, or the right tool, but it's not giving up. And knowing that it is within, everything is within. You can have anything and everything. You just have to know that you can do that. And that is not a destination. That is a continuous journey every single day.
Hilary, where can people find you?
Well, I have my website, hilarysilver.com. I'm Hilary with 1 L. And the journal is actually hilarysilver.com/journal if you're interested in that. I'm on Amazon as well if you want to buy the journal through Amazon. And I'm everywhere. Facebook, I've got a video library, so get to know me on Facebook. Yeah.
Hilary, thank you so much for dropping your knowledge today for our listeners.
Thanks for having me. It was super fun talking to you.
Life Nation, you got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Libas, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow, because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.